All right. Hi, everybody, and welcome to introduction of the RISO and Plockmatic solution. Many of you know that booklets are often printed in black and white because people like to minimize the cost of printing reference materials like booklets. But it's 2025, we live in a color world, and black and white just is not going to cut it anymore, even with booklets. And that's why inkjet exists. For all those stuck in a black and white world with limited budgets, RISO Inkjet will allow you to generate color booklets more affordably. Today, we're going to show you how the Plockmatic and RISO have teamed up to give you the type of solution that will fit into an implant very nicely. We have Carl Jones here from Plockmatic. He is going to do a presentation, and our print specialist, Juanita, is going to be running the Plockmatic Booklet Maker right over here. Carl is then going to come in and assist Juanita, and they will do a question and answer session after the presentation is over. Carl, take it away. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Carl Jones. I'm from Plockmatic, and we're very proud of our partnership with RISO. And we're here to present the Plockmatic 9000 series or 450, 435 series machines. Let me bring up my slide deck here. Can you see that on your screen?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we're starting the launch of the Plockmatic 450E, 435E booklet making system with RISO. And the configuration that you see, the photo of the machine that you see here, is one of our configurations with the hand feed system, the booklet maker, and the finishing module. This system, being the 435 or 450, is capable of doing 35 sheets or 50 sheets into a booklet. What that means is that it can do 140-page booklets or 200-page booklets, completely finished, square back, stitched, and trimmed. What it brings to your customer is the ability to do landscape books, give you a superior bind with the square backing of the Plockmatic technology. And it's a unique format that really tailors to most of your customers' needs. As you can see with the finishing module, you get the stitches, 2 staples, usually in the center of the spine that could be moved up or down depending on how the customer wants it, or with a fixed location in the middle. Staple documents of 150 to 200 pages with the PL 435E and the 450E. Notice the E nomenclature. This is a slightly faster model than the typical 435 or 450, about 30 to 50% faster than those models.
So I sent the email. I'm not sure if you saw it, but I sent the email saying start at 9, and then Derek was like, "Hey, I talked to blah blah blah."
Machine.
To the page, and I was like, "All right."
Somebody needs to mute.
The machine is also able to do corner and edge stapling. The corner and edge stapling configuration is shown here. It's either an 8.5 by 11 letter portrait or an A4 portrait. You can see the measurements of how those are placed in. When you do edge stapling, there is a module to be placed in the machine in order to do that, but it's a quick changeover for your customers.
Derek probably called me for so.
The simple UI interface. The UI interface, a lot of the information is fed from the controller. As you can see on the screen, you have a 7-inch touchscreen. You define the paper size, the booklet size, the stitch position, fold position, those types of things. Very easy for your operators to use. Typically, when we're doing this operator training, operators are making books within 2 hours. This is This shows you the UI, very clear instructions, easy for operators to use. It gives you both a visual representation plus a numeric representation of what the operator is going to do with the machine. Now your configurations. The center machine is actually the 450E, the 435E. That's the production machine. You can add the finishing module and the staple and fold positioning modules. All of that is contained in this one unit. You have the hand feed on the far left and the finisher on the far right. When it comes to making booklets, 50 sheets is what we state, it is dependent on the paper weight. So you have a conversion chart for the bond cover index, possibly also some linen over to GSM. The maximum book thickness that the machine can make is a 10 millimeter book, but you also have to consider the toner coverage, media waste, and so on and so forth. And lastly, it's not just about 50 sheets in a book, it's about the look and feel, the size, the ability to do coated linen stocks, and the wide range of medias and textures that your customers may need. The configurations, the base configuration is on the top. That is simply the booklet maker without the finishing module. That means it's not going to receive a face trim and square backing. The bottom configuration is a full system with a hand feed tray, the booklet maker, the finishing module, which will give you the face and square backing. Options include the optional output conveyor and the hand feed hatch on the top. So your customers can run books offline of the press. They would just feed it into the top opening hatch. We're fully integrated with the RISO print engine. Here's the configuration that you'll see with, I believe, a high cap feeder into the booklet maker to a high cap stacker, which allows you to run flat sheets into that and not have to go through the booklet maker. And finally, the booklet maker itself. Another photo of the booklet maker. Far right is the input hatch, the stacker, and then you see the booklet maker. The specifications, the sheet size, these are all specs. I'd like to go out to the machine and show you the machine at this time. We'll leave this up if you wanted to look at it, and I believe the PowerPoint slide deck will be available afterwards.
Of course, everybody probably know me by now. It's Juanita here from RISO, and we're at Woburn, as Talar was saying. I'm going to run some booklets here, show you how ease of use. We're having it on the Fiery 1200, 4,000 in, 4,000 out, the booklet maker with the 450 attached to it. I'm going to run a booklet that is about 80 pages. So what it's doing is pulling the 24-pound paper item from 1, 2, and 3. You can pull a pre-printed stock if you wanted to, cover stock for the front page out of the standard tray or a high cap feeder. It's duplexing, it bypassing the stacker up here. It's going into the booklet maker. It is a catch in here where it staples, and then it goes folds, and then it's basically trim the face trim and square binding here. There's different options on this touch panel that has the square bind and stapling where you can adjust everything. And it's going to come out right here. I'll pull it out. And it's about 80 pages. And we have these square bind with 2 staples. And the staples where you can adjust is where you want to center it from the spine and everything else too.
Okay. Opening up the booklet maker itself. And we have an overhead shot? Okay. Now, once you've printed the sheets and we've duplexed them, whatever size you want, the machine will set up to the size that the controller or the DFE tells it to. So they'll come in, they'll go between the 2 side joggers. Every 3 sheets, it's tapped and held into place. The stitch heads would fire as soon as the end of set signal comes in. It'll fire down through the set of booklets. Now, the stitch position is movable. They can move up and down the spine. So in this case, we have some text on the spine. If it happened to fall where those stitches would be placed, we can move those stitches up above or down below wherever that text may lie. So once it gets the end of set signal, it's being held on all 4 sides. It goes down through the fold gate, comes up and gets folded. then down into the finishing module. And the finishing module is what gives it that square edge. Now, the square edge is a patented Plockmatic technology. We've been doing this for about 20 years of creating the square edge, but it gets held, square edge applied, and that is actually configurable as well. It'll do a face trim. Now, as part of the solution, it will do multiple face trims all the way down to the finished size. So if I wanted a very narrow book, I don't necessarily have to start with a very, very narrow sheet of paper. It will reduce it down to wherever it needs to be. Also in the system, you have the 2 stitch heads in place. That's 90% of your maintenance on the machine. But once you replace the staple cartridge, that maintenance is done. You have storage locations here on the top for an additional 4 staple cartridges. Okay. So if you were the operator, you would have 4 up here, 1 down here. Simply push the lever, pop out, put another one in. All the green button is jam clearance if it ever jams. Our machines never jam. No, it always runs perfectly, never a paper jam. But in that one occasion that it may, you have a very easy to clear out the jams. Green buttons, open it up, and that's it. Anything from the staple head to the back of the machine, it self-purges. So it makes it very easy for your operator to come up and operate the machine. Very simple. Now, the other nice thing about this entire system is that you can come up and make a booklet very quickly. You don't need to be a master pressman. You don't need to be an apprentice. You walk up, you tell the machine the paper size, the booklet size, and the staple position. Staple position, I have the ability, like we said in the PowerPoint slide deck, to do edge stapling, corner stapling, or no stapling. So I can run flat sheets into the machine and just have it folded. Okay. But if I was doing edge stapling, I could put in the edge stapling kit. Not the kit, but it just tells edge stapling, run 8.5 by 11 portrait, and we're all set. Corner stapling, I would put in the corner stapling kit, and we just put a stitch in the corner of the booklet. Same sheet capacity, 35 or 50. The machine is field upgradable between the two, and you're on your way. I can also change my square back. If I want a little bit more square, less square, okay, I can do that. And I can also change my stitch position on the fly while I'm in production. So if I see a little anomaly, like it is putting the stitches in the spine in the wrong location, I can move that up or down. And given the UI the way it is, it's very simple for an operator to come up and start operating the machine. But you get this thing set up, you go to jobs, you can save your jobs and recall it. Give it a pertinent name so you know it's a 11 by 17 taken down to an 8.5 by 11 book. So those repeat jobs are very easy to program, set up, and you're all done. It makes for a perfect configuration for your implant printer, your schools, your colleges, your financial institutions, any location that would require a lot of booklets, square backed, so it inserts better into mailing, those types of things. Manufacturing are all good locations for this machine. Okay.
That's about it on our end. So if you have any questions, please use the chat now to have any questions there. We did have a question earlier today. The minimum size is 4.1 by 5.83. So a CD size that we have here already made. So that's the smallest, and you can see the edges of the staples are right close to the edge. So that's the smallest piece you can do. You can do 12 by 18 sheets if you want full bleed to trim afterwards. So you can do that. You can insert pre-printed cover stock if you want to. From the cover stock only goes to the high capacity stacker or standard tray, and then have the body pulled from the trays.
And generally speaking, when we're doing mixed media, the booklet maker runs at rated speeds of the print engine.
Yes.
So there's no slowdowns in that regard.
And if we have any other questions, please use the chat.
I think on the prior call, they asked about power.
Right, our power consumption is basically our 110 outlet around. This one is on one power strip on the back, and it's running this whole configuration. The whole configuration itself is about 17 feet on the 1200. We are working on the 2200 to get you the 360 pages per minute, and having also the offline cut sheet printing in line with everything else that we have. So that's in the works. Give it a few more months.
What is the max number of pages per book? The maximum number of pages per book really depends on the sheet thickness. With the 35 sheets being 140 pages in a book, 450 would be 50 sheets, 200 pages. The overall maximum thickness is 10 millimeters. So if you mix cover, text weights, or have a heavier GSM stock, the number of sheets will go down, and depending on the amount of coverage. So that is a sliding scale, but that is why the machine is the 435E or 450E. The last two numbers specify the number of sheets per book. Is this the same Plockmatic that Canon or other manufacturers use? Canon does not have this booklet maker in their fleet at the current time. They actually have, I believe, the 5000, the Power Square 224. So no, it is not the same. There are modifications specifically to this booklet maker. Even if it's a similar model, there are differences between this and any other 400 or 4000 models out there. This has specifically been designed to work with inkjet technology. So it is different than what you have out there currently. Can you accommodate different cover sheets?
Yes, you can add different cover sheets. So we have uncoded. If you want to print directly onto the cover sheets and on our printers, you can. So I have right now uncoded Cougar smooth stock in here, about 80-pound cover sheet. You can do also pre-printed slightly glossy sheets. We do want to test that to make sure all our rollers and everything can feed correctly on that, especially on the higher gloss sheets that are pre-printed. So you can print nice cover stock that you want your cover to look great, and then inside for low cost, you can print that on our inkjets for lower cost printing. So for a penny a page, that way you don't pay 10 cents or so for printing on an inkjet or toner, higher end printer.
Yeah, the cost savings between inkjet and toner is significant.
So, and then of course the 110 voltage, that's another cost saving. And having it in line, so manual labor.
The duty cycles. The duty cycle of the Plockmatic is 30 to 40,000 booklets per month. And the duty cycle of the print engine,
About 500 to 750, depending on coverage and what paper stock you're using. The other thing is that we're talking about maintenance and everything else. The blade, what
1 to 1.2 million.
cuts,
And that's booklets through,
booklets.
not just sheets. It's a huge number.
So it's pretty big.
And fewer moving parts in your RISO, no fuser rolls or any of those things to delaminate or contaminate. It's a great combination.
Yeah. So great partnership here.
It sounds like you're selling my machine and I'm selling yours.
Anything else? If not, I'll give it back to Pilar, and she can kind of send us off to the weekend. And to Print United.
Thank you, both of you. That was awesome and very informative. And to everyone on this call, thank you so much for joining us. If you need more information, you can contact your local RISO rep or RISO marketing. And if you want any Plockmatic samples, let us know and we can get those out to you. Again, thank you so much for joining us and this partnership RISO now has with Plockmatic. And we'll see you at Printing United. We will be at booth 3915. Have a great weekend.